Okay, so now I just want to talk about symmetrical modeling in Maya. It's something that we deal with quite often, since a lot of the objects that we model, more specifically hard surface objects, man-made objects, a lot of them tend to have symmetry. So there are certain techniques that we use when modeling with symmetry that makes it a bit more efficient. So let's say, for instance, if I add some divisions to this cube here, right? I can, with my move tool, W, if I W and left click, I can go to symmetry menu here and turn on symmetry. Actually, if I go there again, I can select x-axis, right? Since we want to maintain a consistent forward object faces forward in the Z, and the left to right is the X, right? We want to keep that consistent, so always make sure that when you're working with symmetry, you're reflecting in the X axis and that your objects are facing forward in the Z axis, right? So that's what we have here now. So you'll see if I select vertices here, right, the where I move them on the right is reflected over to the left side. Alright, so I can come in here and make changes to the geometry like that, and it will be reflected. I can extrude a face here. Control E to extrude. Pull that out, and you'll see it looks like it's reflecting. I can go front to back, it's reflecting there, but if I go up and down, now it's not reflecting. So that's something you have to keep in mind, right? Also, if I wanted to add some cuts here with this multi-cut tool, right, I see it's showing up on this side, but it's not transferring to the other side. So if I really wanted to make, let's say this just happened to be my finished model on this side, and I want to reflect it over to this side, what I would have to do is go into face mode. I need to switch off symmetry first, make sure symmetry is turned off first, and then I select these faces here and delete those faces. And what I want to make sure of is that, first of all, my pivot is on the center line, and also all of these vertices here are on the center line. I haven't really moved any of these, so I don't really have to worry about that, but just in case you weren't certain if all of your vertices were on the center line, you could go up here and select absolute transform and type in a 0, right? And all of your vertices, if they were off at all, like this, if you select them, go up here, press 0, they'll be all on that center line. Right, so now to mirror this geometry, I can simply go to I believe mesh, mirror geometry. Let's choose the option box, just see what's going on inside here. So these are, if I reset the settings, right, the default settings are to mirror in the plus X. Now if I was to click apply here, right, we see it's mirroring this way, right? We really want it to mirror the other way. So I'm just going to select the window and Control Z to undo. So I'm going to make it minus X. So minus X will make this left side that we modeled here mirror over to the right side, and it's going to merge with the original and merge the vertices. Okay, so if I click mirror now, we'll see that our object has mirrored. Alright, so let's say you're working on a more complex model, and you want to actually see what's going on the other side without having to go through this process of deleting faces and mirroring over every time. What you can do is, I'm just going to delete this again, is you can make an instance of this object and reflect it over to the other side. Alright, so to make an instance, I'm going to go to edit, duplicate special, option box, Alright, by default it will be copy. I'm going to select instance instead. I click duplicate special, duplicates it in the exact same spot. I'm going to press Control G to make a group, and I'm going to inverse scale that group along the x-axis to -1. And now if I select vertices on this side, I'll see, right, it updated on the other side, reflected. If I extrude, I'll see it updated on the other side. No matter what axis I'm in, it will be reflected, right, on the other side. And if I add divisions here, my multi-cut tool, if I go to shading, wireframe unshaded, you'll see that cut has shown up on the other side. One pitfall with this technique, right, is if I'm in a side view and I want to select these vertices here. Okay, see, it's not happening now that I'm demonstrating it, but it happened to me before. Alright, let's see. Oops. Alright, go into vertex mode. Let's see if I go into my side view, right view, right, and then I try moving these, and I see what's happening is, you know, I've selected these vertices, but it's also selected this in object mode for some strange reason, and that can really disrupt your workflow. So to avoid that, what you can simply do is take this side and put it on a new layer, right? So I'm just selecting this and choosing this button here, which adds this object to this layer. And if I click in this window until I see the R, that means it's reference, so I can't select that by mistake. So now, right, if I go in my right view and I select vertices, I can select vertices any way I want, and I won't end up selecting the other side in object mode. Alright, so I think that is it, if I'm not forgetting anything. Of course, when you're ready, when you think your model is done, you can simply unreference that layer, select that object, press up on the keyboard to get the group and delete that group, and then once your center line is all perfectly centered and your pivot is on the center, you can go to mesh, mirror geometry, and your object is mirrored. Alright, and don't forget to delete your history. It's Alt-Shift-D.